Good grand day, gems and jewels. I am your host, Corinthia Peoples, and this is Power in My Pivot. Power in My Pivot is a live show broadcast where we discuss how ordinary people, such as you and I, have become extraordinary in our own right through the power of pivoting, turning, by changing our minds and moving our lives from the prescribed direction of societal roles and conditions. This is a show for men and women, kings and queens, knights and princesses. Today, we will have an intimate discussion with a Renaissance woman, Reverend Judy Ann Young, who will share intimate details of her journey of being in non-traditional roles time after time again, and how she discovered setting boundaries was a form of self-love, and love, Love, is universal and necessary and also prolific. Stay tuned. Welcome to Power in My Pivot. Power in My Pivot, again, is a discussion and an unfoldment of how, along our journeys, we've had to pivot, whether that's been voluntarily, circumstantially, or out of sheer survival. It's a talk of the soul. It's a soul journey of our evolution of humans. Welcome all to the room. This is an interparticipatory dialogue. So feel free to drop comments in the chat and to stay in there with us through every moment and every second of this live broadcast. Our special guest today is Reverend Judy Ann. Reverend Judy Ann is a native Alaskan. She's a retired BP oil employee where she worked on the Trans-Alaska pipelines as a woman in non-traditional role. Miss J has hiked through the rainforests in Ghana, West Africa, and walked on the Great Wall of China, baby. She is a restorative justice facilitator in several California prisons. And she has road hogged across the United States, across 25 United States, states in the United States, on her 2019 Harley Davidson Street Glide motorcycle named King Tut. Honey, Miss J mounts her Harley Davidson motorcycle and rides out just for relaxation. Miss J is a Renaissance woman, amongst many other things. Without further ado, I would like to introduce our guest and our elder, Reverend Judy Ann Young, who I endearingly refer to as Rev J.
Hey, beloveds, this is your girl. Yes.
Yes.
Nieces and nephews. That's what I call everybody, nieces and nephews. Because you know what? I'm just days away from turning 70. Yes, I will be 70 on the 25th of November. And this is what it looks like when you take care of yourself. Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you very much.
Yes, indeed.
How are you, Corinthia?
I'm doing good, Rev J. I'm so glad that you joined in. This is a new muscle that I'm working, creating this show.
Well, I'm going to help you work it, baby.
I, just you being here, you working it. And there's other works for you to do with this show. Trust and believe. Yes. So thank you for being here, Rev J. I
Thank you
really
for
appreciate
inviting me.
it.
It's an honor. Yeah, it's an
Yes,
honor.
it is an honor. It is absolutely an honor.
Let's not delay. Let's just jump right into this. What do you want me to address today?
I do. I got some questions for you, and I know
Okay.
you're gonna handle them. You're gonna, honey, wrestle them things up and just eat them up and give us all the gems that we need. So, Rev J, I would like to lead by asking you to share with us, what is your ministry?
My ministry has morphed over the years. I became an ordained minister graduated from seminary school in 2012. I became ordained a couple of years later. I've done pulpit, I've been a hospice chaplain, and now I'm a chaplain to some motorcycle organizations. I do a lot of street ministry now, a lot of community ministry. I had this aha epiphany that all of the great teachers did it walking amongst the people. So I do some work in prisons. Before COVID, I was going to several prisons in California. And last year, I volunteered here in an inner city elementary school working with fifth graders and doing reading and life skills. And what I realize is, and I had this bright moment where I said, the unattended, neglected fifth grader becomes the imprisoned man. And it's just really interesting to look at what happens when you see a child that does not feel loved and is not being fed properly. So my ministry is out here with people. And I still do some pulpit ministry. I speak once a month, and I have for over 10 years in Lake Havasu, Arizona. So I do pulpit. I do motorcycle chaplain. I do a lot of memorials, a lot of weddings. I work with inner city children, and I work with prisoners. So
Rev J, when I first I met you through Center of Spirituality, and you were a co-minister. Would that be correct to say?
I was on staff there, yes, as a staff minister.
Yes.
And
So, as growing up, especially as people of color, we have a picture that we've painted in our minds, in our heads, about what a minister does and what a minister looks like, right? And I remember the first time I saw you after our services, you was on your Harley Davidson with your boots on, and you was riding out, and I was like, oh my God, yes, I want to be like that, in the sense of being free. Because clearly you have a freedom about yourself that you are not afraid to display. Which brings me to my next question.
Yes, ma'am.
What pivotal points, Rev J, in your life that's led you to becoming the elder Judy Ann Young you are today?
Great question. The first pivotal point I remember that led me on the path to who I am today, I was in my mid-30s, and I had a relationship that left me devastated, naked, bruised, wasn't no low self-esteem, baby, no self-esteem, laying in the carpet. And the sad part about it was I was a well-paid employee. So money was not the issue for me. Mine was about the wreckage in my life. And I was laying in the carpet, and after 2 or 3 days, my eyes were all cut and bruised from rubbing my face in the carpet fibers. I came up off that floor. Back then, we had yellow page phone books. And I went through and looked under therapists, psychiatrists, psychologists, and I called numbers until someone answered. And this man answered and said, well, may I help you? And I said, I need to talk to someone. And he said, well, what seems to matter? I said, I don't know. But I was so my intention was so clear. He said, if you can be here in 15 minutes, I'll see you. I jumped in my sports car. I drove downtown, ran up the stairs. I didn't even look for an elevator. When I knocked on the door, he opened the door and he said, what's the matter? And I said, I'm angry. I was angry, Corinthia. I was angry, and what I didn't know how to express was I was angry with me. I had gave all I had. I had just played all out. I had given an Academy Award-winning performance in my life, and it wasn't enough because I had the disease to please. And the more I gave in this relationship, the more was expected of me. So I spent maybe 6 months unraveling this. And then I had this epiphany. No one is going to love me until I love me. And I learned the most important word in the world at the time. No. Oh, baby, there's some power in that no.
So it seems that what I just uncovered recently within the past few hours, Rev J, is the power in saying no is setting the boundaries.
Absolutely.
Which brings me to my next question for you.
Okay.
Did setting boundaries and that power word no, did it come easy for you?
Absolutely not. It was the most fearful thing I did because growing up, here's the deal. We have children, and through conditioning, they learn how to people please. Make mommy happy, you're going to get some cookies. Make the teacher happy, you'll get a good grade. So we start learning to people please early.
Yes.
And no one ever teaches us the power in saying no.
No, we never learned that.
How often do we tell children, you don't know what you're talking about? I'm grown.
You don't have no nerve.
They know what they're talking about. They know. But we bully them, we browbeat them, we practice our authority. I'm the parent, so I didn't learn how to say no. Yeah. And the pivot came, and it was fearful for me to date someone, and they wanted to be intimate with me, and I said no. Because in my mind, he's not going to like me. Baby, when you learn a lesson, I got good at saying no. No, that doesn't work for me.
So did you become good by saying no, Rev J? It's self-love. Your no was a form of self-love. But did that no, did you have to practice? And did you lose friends along the way with your no?
Yes and yes. I practiced by setting some boundaries. And for me, setting the boundaries meant I wrote them down on paper. That if you said that we were going to the movies and you would be there at 7 p.m., and I would give you 10 minutes of grace period. If you roll up at 7:30, the door didn't get answered. Because especially if you didn't call me, that's disrespectful. That's setting boundaries. Let me tell you something. All of us are equal in one way. Each day we have 24 hours. You're not going to waste my time or disrespect it. And that was the first way that I set an intention. If you tell me something, I'm holding you to your word. And if you can't show up on time, that means you are not going to show up in my life on time. So I'm not answering the door. You late, you're going to be late. That's what you do. But that's not acceptable for me. And I wasn't angry about it. I wasn't braggadocious or mean-spirited. It's just like, I don't think this is going to work, but I like you. Mm-hmm. And I just set boundaries. I set intentional deal breakers.
Interesting. How hard was it hard for you to initially, when you started on your journey, was it hard for you initially to hold tight to what you had set? Because a lot of times we set things for ourselves and we break those things, whether that be a New Year's resolution or something like this. How was that transition for you?
Let me tell you something. When as soon as this is a life lesson, as soon as you set an intention, God, the universe, is going to give you a pop quiz. They're going to present you with an opportunity to say and do what you said you were going to do. So,
Absolutely.
of course, it was challenging. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, I slipped up more than once. And then I said, okay, now you know.
So you brought yourself back to center.
I brought myself back to center. And what it led to were being comfortable with being alone, but not lonely. See,
That's powerful.
the big fear for a lot of women is we want someone to hold us and to love us and tell us that we're pretty, even if we know that they're lying and we know they got girlfriend down around the corner and we have wife-in-laws. Oh, we got a whole bunch of excuses. You heard that, wife-in-laws?
Wife.
Yeah, you got a wife-in-law down around the corner. And I realized that doesn't work for me. Just because you can't afford me does not mean I need to go on sale. If you want to be in relationship with me, you're going to pay full price. I do that in my relationship with friends. I am going to be authentic and loving and honest with you, Corinthia, and with my girlfriends. I honor who they are. I'm not going to accept no sideways friendship. No.
So, Rev J, that's a muscle that you worked. That within yourself.
Yes, I had to work that muscle because let me tell you something, just like I had abusive relationships with men, I had the same relationships with a couple of girlfriends who I was always giving for and giving to and doing things for them. I would never go on vacation without bringing them something back. It became an expectation until one person said to me, I brought her a leather bag from New York. And she said, oh, I don't like this. Can you take it back? It's just not me. And I was so crushed. I was crushed.
Yeah, that would
crush. And I realized that I needed to set boundaries in my friendships, that I'm always available to loan you money and to do things for you to the point where you thought I had to. So it's a pain that people pleasing. Oh, baby, that's a tough lesson to learn.
Yeah. So in all relationships, there's this boundary setting. There's an adjustments that have to be made in order to be authentic to yourself, is what you're saying.
Absolutely. And we are not conditioned or taught to be authentic in relationships because we want to be liked. The person that is so popular and everyone likes them, baby, that's somebody that's people pleasing right there. Because you know what? Everybody's not going to like you. And I got real when I realized I'm not everybody's cup of tea.
See, and that's the piece. That's the piece right there. But that again, that takes a muscle. And I guess you worked it just by continuously practicing. And that speaks to success and failure.
Yes. Yes. We are taught oftentimes, we are taught that failure to be ashamed. And like I tell my grandchildren, you know, children learn well. They want to tell me, grandmother, this is what I did and blah, blah, blah. And I said, tell me where you failed, because that's where your learning is.
There you go.
Baby, let me tell you something. You got to learn how to fall before you can stand up.
That's right. Rev J, you know, I've heard you in you have a YouTube channel, the Elder Miss J.
Elder Wisdom with Miss
J. And you drop a lot of gems about your mother. That is so beautiful. What do you wish? You said that we wasn't taught how to say no. What do you wish your mom would have taught you to make your journey a little bit more full?
Great question. What I wish my mother had taught me through her own actions was to value myself. My father was an alcoholic and a womanizer, and my mother condoned his behavior. And I learned from watching how she allowed him to act in her life. So whatever she said with her mouth was unraveled with her actions. What I saw, she had a lot of wisdom. She had a lot of wisdom, but she came from an era where, a man's gonna be a man, and that's just what they do. No, no, men and women, we are humans. We have integrity. We have honor. We have respect. Stop acting like, well, and these are the things that a lot of old school women and even some of the young women are buying into. Well, they're all dogs. No, we're not sleeping with some four-legged, unintelligent creature. We're
Yeah.
sleeping with a human. We're in relationship with men and women, and they should conduct themselves accordingly. If a man does not respect you, know that. Stop trying to put sugar on it and make it something else. If he does not respect you, honor that. Because I don't care. Like with my mother, if you don't teach the man in your life to respect you, your daughters are going to watch that, and they're going to mimic your pattern of behavior until they learn better.
Mm-hmm.
My mother taught me a lot of wonderful things, but how to say no, I learned on my own through my own pain.
Mm-hmm.
See, I had people try to crack me open from the outside. All that did was almost kill me. But when I cracked from the inside, like an egg, if you crack it from the outside, you kill the baby chick. But when the baby chick cracks it from the inside, there's new life led into formation. And I started cracking from the inside, and I gave birth to me. And I accepted me and realized I was worthy of love. I can't tell you how many of us don't think we are worthy the way we are. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not smart enough. I am worthy of love. All this deliciousness is
Right.
worthy of love.
Yes. So, you know, science has proven that when we're in the womb,
Mhm.
certain emotions, we get certain emotions from our mothers,
Yes.
and we come out with this makeup, if you will, with some of these tendencies and emotions that we've developed in the womb from our
Mhm.
mothers. For you, what's been a challenge for you emotionally then when you was little girl Judy Ann until you are who you are today? What fight do you have to still continue to fight with yourself?
Ooh, you getting me naked now, honey. My biggest emotional battle was with abandonment. My birth mother, I remember as a little girl, my dad wasn't around. He had gone to Alaska. And I would ask about him, and she told me that he didn't love us and he went away. Well, I had a lot of issues with abandonment, and that also helped me anchor that people pleasing. And throughout my life, a lot of my conversation was I didn't want them to not love me, whoever them was, whether it was a parent or a lover or a friend. Um, so that was something that I fought with for a long time. And even now, it will pop up, and I will have the thought, just a fleeting thought about abandonment. And the way I deal with it today is I have a very supportive husband. And out of nowhere, I'll often ask him, Boo, do you love me? And he'll say, more today than yesterday. And one day he asked me, he says, why do you just randomly ask me that? And I said, because sometimes I become afraid. So that's the tender side of me. And then he'll say, yeah, I love you. And I'll go on about my day and I'll go on and do wonderful things. I can do that because when that comes up, I give it a voice. See, we're only as sick as our secrets.
Mm.
So when we give that demon, that, as they say, that monster under the bed, see, the monster under the bed is really big until you shine a light under there and you realize it's that shoe you've been looking for the last week. Wonder where that shoe went. Oh, that's what that is. It's a monster
Yeah.
when you see its shadow under the bed. So I shine light on the monsters under my bed.
How would you relate? I want to go down Lover's Lane. So,
Yes.
this, and again, I want to say that this is a show for the kings and the queens, for the
Yes.
men and the women, for the knights and the princesses.
Yes.
So, love is a thing that we all, as humans, it is
Mhm.
an innate emotion,
Yes.
right? So, how would you differentiate love being an emotion and or a necessity?
Ooh. How would I rate love being an emotion and or a necessity? Everyone desires to be special to someone. And I will say this, get in relationship with yourself. Do all that you can to be the best you that you can be. And when you enter into a this is for men and women.
Yeah.
Do not tell that person what you think they want to hear. Tell them who you really are because they're going to find out. See, what breaks up a lot of relationships is we buy a dog and then we get home and we realize, well, this isn't a dog. This is a cat. No, tell people who you are and
Yes.
be authentic in it.
Or
But
the
that's
other way, Rev J, you could think you bought a cat and it's really a Rottweiler.
right. And what breaks up relationships is we go through this courting stage of telling people what they want to hear, wanting to be intimate with them. And once intimacy gets into the picture, a lot of times integrity and honesty kind of play a background picture. They kind of slip away. You know, I went after the big breakup in my mid 30s. I decided that I would be celibate. And it was for like 18 months, 2 years. It was the best period of my life. I could be with men, and it was clear to me and clear to them, we're not going to be intimate. And I met the most amazing humans. Because here's the deal, as you mature, there's something that you need from a relationship that is much richer than intimacy. You need friendship, you need companionship, you need a co creator, you need someone to help you and support your dreams and whose dreams you can help and support. Because by the time you get my age and my husband's age, you don't look like you did when you were 25 and 30. What kind of glue is going to hold you together?
Yes. So, Rev J, you mentioned this gem drop, and we're going to go to stay with us, you guys, because if you want to add to this conversation, or if you have a question, we're going to have a quick time for me to go through the feed and you can
Okay.
join in. So, Rev J, you dropped the gem and the jewel of paying full price for you because you're not going on sale just because someone can't afford to be in your life. That is a gem drop. Love it. So I want to ask you also mentioned integrity because my question is, how do you want to be loved? So we know you want to be loved paying full price for you, and you want integrity. So can you share with us, you also mentioned the abandonment piece of your husband, kind of smoothing that piece out for you.
Right.
What other ways does does the elder Reverend Judy Ann wants to be loved?
I like to be loved with a tenderness and a quiet authenticity. I want to know who you are, and I want to support that piece of you. I don't like idle chit chat conversations, or social get-togethers per se, because the bigger the crowd, the less authentic we are, because we are taught to hold our feelings private. I like transparency. If I ask you, how are you feeling today? And you say, oh, I'm fine, and I know that you're not, then I feel like, why are we even wasting time with this conversation? You're not being honest with me. That's important to me. Authenticity and transparency. If you aren't feeling good about something that's going on with you, I want to know that, because I want to know how to support you. And I want to feel that I can tell you when I'm not feeling well. And that's what we should seek in a mate, because my husband, good example, my husband had a stroke March 23rd this year. And part of his rehab was to walk to the corner. And I got where we would stretch these walks out, and it became our hour to just be very intimate. There's no cell phones or distractions. And my husband's a quiet man, and he would share how he felt. What an honor to create a space for him to say how he felt when his body was not doing what it used to do. See, that's that level of intimacy that you have to get baptized by the fire.
That's right.
And that's the level of love that when your mate no longer looks like they did at 25 or 30 or even 40, what's going to hold you together? Because here's the reality. You get in relationship with someone and you say you love them and you marry them. When you get older, that's going to be the person making decisions on your behalf.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Rev J, what song brings you to center and makes everything all right?
Ooh. Precious Lord, take my hand. Lead me on, let me stand. That's one of the songs that is an old Negro hymn. Yeah. But here is the thing about those old hymns, and I've learned it as a minister, what music invokes in us, especially those old hymns, and you sing them and you feel the vibration. It's the vibration that brings me to center.
Yes. Of the song. So, Rev J, what song puts you in your heart chakra? What song that makes you go? You know how we start to rock ourselves because you're like, oh, yes, that's the cut. What song?
Yeah.
That's the cut.
For me, that's the cut is Golden Time of Day by Frankie Beverly and Maze.
Yes.
And I'll be like, ooh, wait, this is a golden time of day.
Yes. So, Rev J, will you share where we're running out of time? So, can you please share? I know, I'm sorry. I want to open it up also for the chat too.
Okay.
So, can you please share where people can find you? And stay tuned. We're going to open it up for the chat after Rev J tells you guys where to find her and where to get more of her gem drops.
Judy Ann Young on Facebook and or Reverend Judy Ann Young on Facebook. I have 2 Facebook accounts, but more so for other gems and insights is Elder Wisdom by Elder Wisdom with
By Miss J.
Rev J. No, with
Miss
Miss
J.
J on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yes.
Elder Wisdom with Miss J on YouTube.
Wonderful. So at this time, I want to open up to the chat.
Okay.
Let's see. Does anyone have a question? So Kim Sean, oh, she's been blowing it up. She is eating this up. I know. I knew she would.
Okay.
She says, "Thank you for your vulnerability. This is touching
You're
my
welcome.
soul." She says, "After your broken heart, how did you recognize that the man you were with now was your husband, and what made him different?"
Excellent question. What made him different was he wanted me to be happy, and he always did what he said he was going to do. If he told me that he would be there at 5, he was there at 10 minutes to 5. If he told me, I will fix your car, he fixed it. He held my hand, and when I told him things that I wasn't so proud of, he never threw them up in my face. And when I went out in the world and I played and I got knocked down and I came home, he always helped me get up off the floor. And he would never get involved in projects, but he would always support me in the projects that I got involved in. So I realized when I had a hysterectomy and I was laying in the hospital and I looked down at my feet and I said, I need a pedicure. The next day, I woke up and he was polishing my toenails.
Oh,
and I'm serious. That's when I decided I
that's
gotta marry this man. The brother owned the something.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Look, that's 2 thumbs up, husband. Yes.
Yes.
So that is
Yes.
beautiful. So Miss Tucker says, your wisdom is always right on time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So again, Rev, this show is for kings and queens. Thank you guys so much for joining in. Rev J, I want to thank you so much for the
Thank
gem
you, Corinthia.
joining in. I thank you for supporting my projects.
Absolutely. And I'm going to leave you all with this one word.
Yes.
Be willing to fall down. It strengthens your muscles for standing up. The more you fall down, the better you learn to stand. And every successful person falls a lot.
Yeah, can you repeat the last part? Every successful
person falls a lot.
When you learn, we just here, get it done, make it happen, do this.
No.
Person falls a lot.
Every successful person, all we hear about are their successes, but you need to learn how to fall down.
Thank you.
And get up.
And don't forget to get up.
And don't forget to get up and keep pivoting. If that don't work, hey, about face and turn in a new direction. I love you so
much, Rev J. I love you so much. Thank you.
And to all of y'all out there, keep praising your own pond, baby. It's a poor duck don't praise its own pond. Quack, quack.
Quack, quack. Stay tuned for the health tip. Thank you, Rev J. So not only, that was rich, honey. That was, whew. If y'all feeling like I'm feeling, I'm like, yes. See, that's what elders do. That's what elders do. And that's why we need them. And that's why they're so important. This is why they are to be revered and honored. This is why we should get up and give them our seats when there's no seats in the room. Let them go through the door first. This is why. No, true enough. All elders don't bring those kind of knowledges and those type of gems and wisdom. But there are some do. And Reverend Judy Ann was an example of one of them. Here on Power and Our Pivot, we don't only speak about the problem, but we also render the solutions, right? So this week's health tip, which we give every single week, is practice your no. And it may look like something like, if you're a little bit like me, who has so much love inside and who probably is definitely a people pleaser, um, it might look something like, no, that's not what I had in mind. It might not be that firm, strong no to start with. It could be like, that's not what I had in mind. That can start to be your no. Simply saying no and setting boundaries while up leveling your love and compassion is a powerful combination, because we can say no with love. We can say no with tenderness. We could say no with honor. That's the help tip for the week. And my personal transformation that I will be practicing personally. Power in My Pivot, honey, is a live broadcast that happens every single Saturday. Join me at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Central Time, and 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Let's pivot from basic to bona fide, baby, because there is power in your pivot. See you next Saturday.